What's going on, you guys? My name's Ty Knots, and welcome to Top 5 Unknowns, 5 Scary Unsolved Mysteries. Number 5. Back in October of 1981, the body of 17-year-old Kurt Sova was found in a ravine. He was noted to have been missing one shoe and had been lying there for only several hours, with an autopsy showing that he likely passed away the previous day. Kurt was known to have lived with his parents in an upscale neighborhood. On the evening leading up to his disappearance, he was supposed to be meeting with a friend a couple of blocks away to attend a party. Though when Kurt never returned home that night, his mother feared the worst. When she'd still not heard from him the following day, she knew that something must have been wrong. That weekend, his parents alerted police and friends of Kurt's about his disappearance and began hanging flyers around town, asking for information about where he may be. Someone then came forward and informed the family that the party that Kurt had been attending was only about 2 miles away, and that the family should check that area. They did just that, though the homeowners insisted that no party was ever thrown at that address. However, a pizza delivery boy then came forward and confirmed that the party had in fact taken place, adding that he'd actually attended the party as well and witnessed Kurt being there. Just 5 days after this info was revealed, Kurt's body was found abandoned in the ravine, just 500 yards from where the party took place. An autopsy then revealed that Kurt had been alive at least 3 days after he was reported missing, yet no one could ever determine where he had been. It was then revealed by a passerby after Kurt's body was discovered that he'd been seen getting into a van on the night of the party. The individual who reported this stated that he had no idea that Kurt was missing at the time, otherwise he would have come forward sooner. It's believed that this is the last time anyone saw him alive. To this day, no one knows who took Kurt's life or even why. Worse yet is that the coroner's office never gave the family any specific reasoning behind Kurt's passing. His toxicology report came back clean, there were no signs of him taking any sort of a beating, and it's thought that he simply passed away naturally, though the report ruled that out as well. His family's still searching for answers to this day. Number 4. Back in 1941, the Germans dropped a series of bombs in Liverpool. This attack caused rubble and debris to be left behind, inside of which a group of children found a large metallic cylinder. Police were then called to the scene and the cylinder was opened. Inside, they found the body of a man who police believe likely passed away during the attack, though strangely the man's clothing items were dated back to the Victorian era, rather than present day. He also had a pillow with him that had been fashioned out of burlap, appropriate for the Victorian time period. The mystery got even stranger when police found railway tickets on his body, as well as 2 diaries from the same time period, a set of keys, and a receipt from what was believed to have been a locally owned mom-and-pop shop from again the exact same time. Police investigated the body for well over a year, yet found no exact cause for the man's passing or any idea how he managed to get in this cylinder or end up in 1941. To this day, it remains a mystery. Number 3. Teos is a small town located in New Mexico that had been home to a mysterious noise known as the Teos hum. This sound was first reported back in the 1990s, with only about 2% of the local population being able to report that they heard it, as the sound took place on such low frequencies that most human ears simply can't pick it up. An investigation was then put in place to determine what was causing the mysterious sound, though it determined something even stranger. There wasn't a single hum, but likely multiples, all appearing to stem from different locations. For years following this, more and more strange sounds were heard and reported, some in the form of a low-pitched hum, while others manifested as a screech or a squeal. Some theories suggested that these sounds likely originated from a nearby factory that had been testing its equipment while it was closed, though most residents didn't buy into this explanation. Others say that it was likely due to unseen airplanes passing overhead, though again, most people said that the sound was nothing even similar. Even today, the sounds are still heard at random moments. It's extremely bizarre that 98% of the general population is unable to hear the noise, but even stranger is that we have no idea what's causing it. Small-scale investigations are still ongoing, but for the moment, the sound remains a mystery. Number 2. Craig Williamson was a 46-year-old man when he married his wife Christine in 1990. The two began to catch and sell tilapia together, making plans to package and sell the fish all across the country. Though those dreams were cut short in 1993 when Craig unexpectedly went missing while delivering tilapia across country. He was expected to be leaving and returning home within 24 hours, though his credit cards were last reported being used in El Paso, Texas. hundreds of miles away from his home. His wife then left to visit Colorado Springs, where she knew he had been. There, she found the hotel that he'd been staying at and found that he left all of his belongings behind, almost as if he planned on returning yet wandered off or had gotten lost. A couple days later, a woman came forward, alleging that she'd seen Craig on the train. She said that he appeared as though he'd lost his mind and kept mumbling about fish tanks. It turns out this witness was a nurse, and she also believed that Craig had likely suffered from some sort of head injury, adding that she believed he was headed to the Washington area, with his wife saying that this made sense as he lived there for a short time in the 80s. However, no trace of him was ever found. To this day, Craig has never been found. His wife believes that he was likely attacked or robbed by a group of assailants, as his car and credit cards had clearly been stolen. However, others have suggested that he may have faked his disappearance and escaped town to form a new life elsewhere. Regardless, Craig is still considered to be a missing person to this day, and his wife is still searching for the truth. Number 1. In 1976, the small town of Circleville, Ohio, was plagued by a series of letters sent by an unknown author. The letters were received by multiple residents, though the letters of Mary Gillespie were certainly the most well documented. Mary's letters insisted that she and the local school superintendent were having an affair. While it took a number of years to come forward, this affair was confirmed, meaning that the writer somehow had inside knowledge about the two, as well as inside knowledge about many residents in the small town. The letters continued coming in for a number of years, all threatening Mary as well as her family. They came to their peak in August of 1977, when a letter came in that infuriated Mary's husband. He then grabbed his gun, left the family's home, and sped away into the night. He was later found that evening after he crashed his car, passing away upon impact. Certain reports state that he had also been shot, though no one could determine whether the shot was from his own gun, before the crash, or after the crash, though it was confirmed that his gun had in fact been fired. All this aside, the letters continued to come in. Fast forward 6 years to 1983, and Mary's driving along her typical bus route, picking up children along her way to school. She then notices a sign on the side of the road that made mention of her as well as her daughter in an explicit manner. She then pulled over and attempted to remove the sign from the ground, but realized it was attached to a booby trap with a loaded gun. The gun was then traced back to Mary's brother-in-law. He was tried and convicted, though apparently falsely, as the letters still continued to come in while he was in prison. In fact, Paul himself received a letter while he was in prison. The letters continued until 1994, according to official record, though certain residents say that the letters actually continued until 2001, just in a lesser manner. Mary's brother-in-law was eventually released from prison and set up a website dedicated to finding the mysterious writer, though he passed away in 2014, and to this day the author of these letters has still never been identified. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to click that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to keep updated with our videos.